Yo, fellas, if y'all want to see me wife a girl that looks like this, or even this, tap in with my Instagram, man. My goal is 10K followers. If y'all active, I will follow back. Come on, y'all. I know we could do it, but hey, here go the vid. College football is one of the best things in America. And when you think about it, you think about the crowds, the student sections, and the energy. And when we come to talking about positions, some of the all-star positions are quarterback, wide receiver, or even DB. But one position they forget about is that running back position. It's been a lot of running backs that have dominated at the college game and then went on to the pros and dominated there as well. And here, we got our next contestant, me, Mac Truck. Your boy went crazy all through high school. I was a state champion, and now I was looking to take my talents to the college game and dominate. After a long time of talking to my family, thinking about it, and praying about it, I ended up committing to the University of Marshall. It just seemed like a good fit, and they told me I had the potential to come in as a freshman and start. Man, that team had the energy, the uniforms, and the facilities I liked. So man, I was all in and ready to go, for sure. Now coming into the first game, I had high expectations. We had a matchup against FCS Southeast, and man, I was looking to go to work. I'd already dominated at the high school level, but this was a totally different ball game. Now that I'm in college, man, I wanted to be one of the best running backs in college. I had a couple conversations with my offensive coordinator and my coach before the game, and based on the work I had did in summer training and practice, they decided that I was going to get that starting job right off the bat. And man, this was crazy. I was expecting to come off the bench and work my way up, but they threw me straight in the fire. And man, every opportunity I got, I tried to make the most of it. Now throughout high school, man, they compared me to Derrick Henry a lot. And I'm not going to lie, when I was little, I was basically a linebacker. But for some reason, my coach decided to move me to running back, and it's been up ever since. Man, Derrick Henry goated. If I could be anything remotely close to that dude, I might be a problem. But anyways, back to this game. Now I'd be lying if I told y'all I wasn't nervous at all. There was definitely a lot of jitters and butterflies before this game. But once the first snap occurred, man, all that went away. As the game went on, our offense was starting to click. I mean, we was racking up touchdown after touchdown, and next thing you know, man, we was up on them boys 20-0. We was really cooking, I ain't gonna hold you. It was explosive play after explosive play, back to back, and we ended up dropping them boys off 30-0. And I kinda expected that from the first game of the season because it's kinda like a tune-up game. You don't face an elite opponent in the first game of the season. But next up, we had to go against a solid team in Virginia Tech. And I had a good day on the field last game, but coming into this game, I wanted to see if I could do better. But I must say, y'all boys gotta understand, it's levels when it comes to this Division I football. Cause these boys' offense was lighting our defense up. And I was thinking we was cold after the first game, until we got in their stadium, and they started going crazy. I mean, every time I hopped on the sideline, they was getting yards after yards, explosive play after explosive play, and our defense just couldn't do nothing about it. On offense, I was still playing hard. I was just trying to make things happen. I had a bunch of different plays where I would break a crazy tackle and just get extra yards to try to give us a chance. And we actually ended up fighting our way back, but we ended up losing by 3 points. It was a bummer, man, because next game we had to go up against Ohio State, the #1 ranked team in all of college football. So after a heartbreaking loss, you telling me we got to play the #1 team, bro? But actually, in the first quarter, I ended up breaking off for a big run, and I was thinking I was finna have a field day. But it's just like a deadbeat father telling his son he gonna hang out with him for the weekend. Hey, it sound good, but that wish may never come true. And that's exactly what this game was. That big run I had ain't mean jack. But I'm not just gonna sit here and say we was getting spanked. We ain't Angela White or nothing. But Ohio State definitely showed us why they the #1 ranked team in the world. And man, this pick six right here, that basically sealed the deal. Us getting 17 points gave us hope, but man, this one was over with, and everybody knew it. So our next game will be against the Western Michigan Ponies. And let me tell you, bro, after taking 2 L's back to back, that lit a fire in me this game. I wanted to make my presence felt and have a great performance on the field. And that's wild to say because we actually started this game off 9-0. But luckily, we was able to drive down the field and put 7 on the board. And man, let me tell you, damn, I was running through them boys. Them Derrick Henry comparisons was starting to come to life. Alright, I ain't gonna say that much yet, but hey man, I was still getting in my groove. And if I kept playing like this, I would get to that level in no time, trust me. Pretty soon after that, I got the first touchdown of my collegiate career. It wasn't rushing, it was actually a passing touchdown, which is kind of crazy. I never thought of myself as a receiving back, but luckily, soon after that, I did end up getting my first rushing TD. After scoring them back-to-back touchdowns, man, I was looking to kill. I wanted to go crazy. I'm telling you, I was making defenders miss, I was running through defenders, and we was steady putting points on the board. I even had this one play where I jumped clean over somebody. I almost fell right in the end zone. If I would have did that, man, I'm telling you, ESPN top 10, top 5, top 2, and it ain't 2. Toward the end of the game, them boys started coming back though. I was getting a little nervous, hands sweaty and all that, but luckily, we was able to pull out that dub. And next up, we had a game against App State. After having a game where I rushed for 120 yards, I wanted to do the same thing this game. But man, App State was beating the sleeves off of us, bro. I can't even hold you. But man, we tried to make it a fight though. It's like in some of these games, we would just get down big and then we get hot at the end. But in order to win football games, hey, we can't go that route. Then we had a matchup against Coastal Carolina. Now at this point in the season, we was 4-5. We had a couple guys that was still locked in, but a lot of people had already checked out. Everybody wanted to make it to the college playoffs, but I mean, everybody ain't got a Cinderella story. But me, I just kept working hard. Every game we came into, man, I was running like the rent was due, my bills had to be paid, and I had 3 kids with a baby mama. And man, I had this one play, they flipped me on my neck, bruh. I thought this was a WWE match for a second. But man, this Coastal Carolina team was legit. I mean, at first I thought we was cooking, but they defense showed why they one of the best in the conference. And man, they was kind of shutting me down on some plays when I could have easily got the first down. And then next thing you know, they baited our QB into throwing a pick right when we were in the red zone. But it's just like I told y'all before, man. The other team always ends up getting the lead, and we always end up fighting from behind. And that's exactly why we be losing a lot of these games. But hey, like they say, the show must go on. And in the next game, man, we had an opponent that was 7-3. I wish y'all could have seen how we was in the locker room before this game. Man, everybody was hype. We just wanted to come in here and we was not gonna take no for an answer. No matter what we had to do, we was walking out of this game with a dub. And I literally mean anything we had to do. Cause on this play, hey man, them boys straight turned me into a gymnast. I tried to hurdle, got clipped, but luckily I ended up flipping into the end zone, so it was all good. I definitely had to go see the trainers after this game because that flip was crazy. I don't know how I even survived that. But midway through the third quarter, man, it was only a 1-point game, and I was shocked. I hadn't seen the score look like that in a few weeks. And then, next thing you know, we would put another 6 points on the board to give us the lead. All we had to do was keep our foot on their neck, and we was gonna be perfectly fine. But the wear and tear was definitely starting to add up. I'm telling y'all, once I got going in this game, the defense made sure that they let me know something else was gonna have to win this game. But luckily, our offense, hey, we had multiple offenses. So when they got extra aggressive with me and I got a little bit banged up, we could just go to the passing game. And that's really exactly what we did. And once we did that, man, we was able to withstand this team and win by 2 points. And finally get our name back in the W column. And what would be my last game of my freshman year, we had to go up against JMU. And man, I had a lot of mixed emotions this game. I couldn't believe my freshman year had went by so fast. It was like it came in the blink of an eye. And we was already at the last game of the season. Man, it was crazy. Now, I had a lot of things I had to decide. I mean, I was really having a pretty good year as a freshman starting. Man, I was doing some things that most freshmen weren't doing. Now, the coaching staff expressed to me that they would love to have me back next year, but I wasn't really a perfect fit with their offense. You see, they wanted to be pass first, but the way I came in and started eating as a freshman, they really just let me rock all season. And I was wondering why they just couldn't let that be the outcome and continue to do that, but hey, y'all know how coaching works in college, man. Once they get their mind made up, it ain't really no changing that. And man, I was thinking about that the entire week of the last game. I mean, how am I supposed to focus on the last game of the season when your coach tell you something like that? I had a lot of different talks with my family, and honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't commit to this school just to be a one and done. I actually wanted to play all 4 years, but I mean, what's the point of playing all 4 years here if they not gonna give me my touches? If they not gonna give me my carries? If I'm not gonna be able to eat? So I just had to soak it all in this freshman year and weigh out all my options. And at the end of the year, a QB from Oregon won that Heisman. But me, your boy made the all-conference team as a freshman. And not only that, your boy was also an All-American as a freshman. So I definitely had a lot of good expectations headed into my next season. Just needed to find a new home. I had a lot of different schools that showed interest in me, but I've always been a fan of the SEC conference. So I decided to take my talents to South Carolina. Man, I was excited. And in the first game of the season, I had to see some familiar faces. Well, I was with a new team, but I had seen this exact same team before last year. Only this time, I may be surrounded by a little bit better talent. So this time it's definitely on. I remember that L we took to them, and straight out the gate, your boy got to work. Man, I was looking to go crazy this season. I'm coming off an all-conference team award, and I was an All-American. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing. But that also meant that defenses were gonna focus in on me even more. But I knew if I just kept my head down and kept putting the work in, I'll be just fine. Now, up in this game, man, we jumped out to a 14-0 lead, which then turned into a 24-3 lead. Now, there was a couple hiccups in the game, a couple missed reads, an interception. But I mean, for the most part, this team was looking pretty good in this first game, and I was loving all of it. Man, y'all remember what Virginia Tech did to me last year, so you best believe I was trying to embarrass them boys every chance I got. We couldn't get big-headed though. We jumped out to an early lead, and it seemed like we was gonna win this game, and I ended up getting my first touchdown of the season, but it was still a long season to go. I mean, you can't base everything off the first game. But we beat them boys 41-23, and then we was on to the next. Your boy had a smooth 72 yards with 2 touchdowns. I say that was pretty good for my SEC debut. But next, we had Texas State. And let me tell y'all, this game right here, man, I was definitely playing bully ball. I was out here throwing linebackers and DBs like they was nothing. Them Derrick Henry comparisons was really starting to come to light. And it's mainly because I was putting in work on them weights all summer. It wasn't just weights though. I was definitely lifting up some BBLs as well. Man, I'm telling you, them girls go crazy when you win an All-American award. But anyway, I'd ended up getting a touchdown in this Texas State game. And that was back-to-back games where I had a touchdown. I wanted to keep that streak going. I wanted to see if I can get one every single game. But we jumped out to a 21-14 point lead, and then we ended up scoring again. It was looking like we was gonna put these boys away. I mean, this was 2 games back to back where our offense was just looking dominant. I mean, it would be an explosive play whether it was running or passing. I mean, this offense could really do it all. And the QB was decent. And I was out here just throwing defenders left and right, trucking defenders left and right. And if you don't believe me, ask Buddy right there. I'm telling y'all, I was in my bag. I told y'all I just had to stay locked and keep putting that work in. And before you know it, I had another touchdown for this game. So that was back-to-back games where your boy put up 2 touchdowns. And man, let me tell you, that home opener, a feeling like no other. I mean, I had never experienced an arena this big at home. Coming to South Carolina, I got all that experience. And we had a matchup against Kentucky. And after going 2-0 to start the season, we was looking to keep it going. And man, I didn't slow down at all. You already know what I was gonna do. Every time I got the ball, I was running like I had an Elden Ring boss behind me. And it didn't take me that long to break off for a huge run. Man, I thought I was gonna take that thing all the way to the crib. But sadly, one of them Kentucky DBs hawked me down. Looks like I gotta work to improve that speed a little bit, but that was still a monster run. And man, I just kept on going and going. Whether I was being a receiving back or just toting that thing on my own, I was getting yard after yard after yard. We was really giving Kentucky that work. I mean, what else would you expect from a conference matchup though? Man, we take those games super serious. And I'm telling you, everybody was doing their thing. There was this one play where I had this receiving touchdown, tried to jump into the end zone and got speared. I didn't know if that boy was a linebacker or Batista, but luckily I was able to cross that line and get 6. And it didn't stop there, man. I just kept doing my thing, running the ball, getting yards like I need to do. I was really a nightmare for Kentucky this game. And we ended up getting the dub fairly easily. And your boy put up 200 rushing yards on 30 attempts with 2 touchdowns. And that was enough to give me SEC Player of the Week. But sadly, next up, we would have another tough SEC matchup. Only this time, it was against LSU. And let me tell you, this is one of the hardest stadiums to play in all of college football. When I tell y'all I couldn't hear myself think in that arena, I really couldn't. And at this point, we was undefeated. And to be honest, we just wanted to keep the streak going. So all that nervousness and anxiety, once the first snap happened, man, all that was out the window. And our QB came out throwing straight bombs. I'm telling you, back to back. We got the first touchdown pretty easy. But man, they came right back down and did the exact same thing. But man, the receivers was acting different this game. I'm telling you, it was head taps everywhere, a bunch of bombs everywhere. I was just trying to fit in where I could. Now, I knew I wasn't going to have another 200 rushing yard game, but hey, maybe I can get 2 touchdowns again. I was on a streak for that. But man, them LSU boys was playing no games with me, bruh. I mean, every now and then I'd be able to truck one of their players, run them straight over, but they was coming to smack me, bruh, every single play. Every time I touched the ball, they was trying to get some type of hit stick, bruh. And man, they ended up taking the lead, but luckily, in the beginning of the 4th, we was able to put another touchdown up. The quarterback was having himself a day. That boy had passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. Real Lamar Jackson like, but he is nowhere remotely close to Lamar Jackson. But man, as the game went on, it definitely went down to the wire. But we was able to hand LSU a L. And a couple weeks later, we had to go up against Mizzou. And I was a little conflicted, man. I was back close to home. I actually wanted to play for this school, but they never showed any interest in your boy. So now, I had to show them what they was missing. But this team was tough too. That's what I liked about this conference. You gonna face a tough team almost every single week. And that's exactly what I came here for, man. I want to face the best of the best to really test my skills. And it didn't take that long for me in the end zone to meet again. Only this time I did it in front of a lot of people I knew, close to my hometown. They wasn't traveling all the way to South Carolina to watch me play. They tune in on TV sometimes though, ESPN Plus. But right here, they got to see it up close and personal. For a majority of the game, it was tied. And both teams were just looking to break through that and see who could end up winning this game. Found ourselves in the red zone and put 6 on the board. But man, Mizzou was still fighting though. The game definitely wasn't over. By the time the third quarter hit, your boy was taking a lot of damage. I'm telling y'all, I had a big usage rate on this team. I mean, I was taking a lot of hits. I'm talking hit after hit after hit. I would have to take about 3 or 4 ice baths after the game. That's how bad it was, bruh. But luckily, we ended up getting a 23-20 win over Mizzou. And I was hyped. We celebrated this dub and then immediately locked in for the next one. And man, another week, another game. The train kept rolling. And let me tell you, my body wasn't feeling no better. Couldn't no big booty Latina save this. Them boys was out there hitting. And we had to go against Bama next. I know Nick Saban gone, but at the end of the day, Bama is Bama. And they still an opponent we gotta go after and get. And man, as you know, our receivers, they was starting to catch fire. I mean, them boys was really different over here, man. But me, I was different too. It didn't take long for your boy to get in that end zone once again. We was becoming real good friends. I had to get a promise ring pretty soon. But sadly, this would be the first game where I've ever fumbled in my entire career. I mean, Bama was really tripping, bro. This fat dude came out of nowhere and just lit me up, bro. And next thing I knew, they was holding up the Bama championship belt right after that. And I don't know if y'all know Michael Jordan or not, but I took that personal. So right after that, I determined we was going to beat this team and I was going to go to work and help us do it. Every time I got the rock after that, man, I was just thinking about that fumble. How them boys tried to embarrass us out there. So I was looking to embarrass whoever I could, throwing dudes off me and some more. And man, this was a close game. Bama had a real good team. But on this play right here, the boy had the clutch gene in him. Was able to hold on to the pass. Defender bounced right off. And I went straight in for 6. But we found ourselves where it was still a 3-point game. But hey, I was moving us down the field. I was doing everything I could to get this win. With 17 seconds left, all we had to do was run a quick little play as we got the dub over them boys 35-31. Still flowing, still going, man. Now it was in this game I realized I was having another great season. So maybe I could be an All-American again. But really in the back of my mind, I was wondering, could I win that Heisman as a running back? I had a good chance if I kept performing well. I mean, I was really starting to find ways to slip through the cracks and get big gains. And not only that, I was figuring out ways to take that thing to the house. I was seeing the end zone way more in my sophomore year than I did in my freshman one. And if they thought I was going crazy with what I was doing in my freshman year, you gotta say I'm going crazy this sophomore year. I had multiple games where I would put up at least 2 touchdowns, if not more. I mean, that's saying a lot. But toward the end of the season, man, we had to go against Clemson. And them boys was tough. I'm not even gonna hold you. Man, I promise you, I blinked one time and then it was just 14-0. Like, I don't know what happened. I blinked and we was just down by a lot. So your boy had to keep cooking up. And I had a couple plays where I got my stiff arm off on a couple dudes. That's also something I had been working on. It's hard to do, man. Derrick Henry really make that look easy. But this was just another game where my team had found themselves fighting back from a deficit. I really don't know what happened this game, man. I just think we was out of sync. I mean, there was a lot of great plays that happened, but there was also a lot of bad ones where we could have got easy completions or easy yards just to move us down the field. We was putting up a fight against Clemson though. We already knew that this game was very important, but sadly, we took an L by 3 points, man. And that would officially knock us out of the chance to compete for a conference championship. And your boy ain't get that Heisman this year, but once again, your boy was on that all-conference team. Only this time it was in the SEC. And I had 1,000 rushing yards this season, on top of being an All-American again. Man, crazy. However though, our season wasn't over. We wasn't going to be able to compete for that conference championship, but we got invited to the Texas Bowl, and we was going to go up against Arizona. Now, I really didn't know what to call this season. I mean, the way we was performing early, there was no way we shouldn't have made the college playoffs. But I mean, sometimes that's how it goes, man. Toward the end of the year, we just couldn't finish games. We had got hot early though, but I was under the mindset I still got 2 more seasons to play after this, so there's still time. But in this game against Arizona, that don't mean I was finna play with these boys just because we wasn't going to the playoffs. This was the last game of the season. I was trying to show off. Them boys ain't getting no pass. Looking back on it though, I can definitely say we had one of the most entertaining bowl games ever. There was this one play, man, where we was basically in the other end zone. I slipped through the crack and had possibly the greatest run of my career. Man, I almost took that thing 100 yards, bruh. Once I broke free, our student section was going absolutely ballistic. Man, I still remember that play like it was yesterday. I seen the little crack. I didn't even know I was gonna be able to get through it, but I just hit a small little jump cut, and then I seen nothing but green turf in front of me. So I just kept going and going. I could hear the coaches screaming on the left side as well as the players. And once I got in the end zone, I low-key didn't know what I wanted to do. I had to stop for a second. Man, after I pulled that off, there was no way I was gonna let us lose this game. But this crazy interception happened where it bumped off of like 3 helmets. And when I looked at the replay, the quarterback threw it right at the tight end's helmet, and I was confused. It was definitely a scare, but luckily, we ended up getting that dub, and we ended the season on a good note. And your boy had a career day as I put up 170 rushing yards. Before you know it, junior season was here, man. And this is a season I do not like to talk about a lot. Mainly because it was one of the most disappointing seasons ever. I mean, we had so many expectations coming into this year. We literally was looking amazing last season, and a lot of people was expecting us to make that jump and get into the college playoffs this year. But man, a lot of stuff just didn't go right. You see, coach was monitoring all the times I had to get extra rehab or going to the trainers extra because of all that wear and tear I was telling y'all about. But I really wasn't tripping though. I mean, I was always able to recover and I wasn't ever seriously hurt. It was just a lot of wear and tear. But coach didn't think that way. I mean, I would still get my carries here and there, but they definitely went down. See, this offense started to become more pass heavy and abandon the run. And man, I was heated because, bro, I'm coming off of 2 back-to-back all-conference, all-American seasons. Why would I slow down now? It was literally so many situations where the game would be on the line or would be a super important play, and all we had to do was just give me the ball, bro. And it was a mix between play calling and the QB just making dumb decisions. And man, that's honestly the reason why we lost a lot of games. Now, don't get me wrong, I was still doing my thing here and there, getting in the end zone and putting up big yards, but man, my carries was nothing like they were the first 2 seasons. And man, just imagine that. You going crazy your first 2 years and then your production goes down. And it's something you can't even control. I mean, football is physical. The running back position is physical. You're going to get hurt, bro. You're getting hit a lot. I didn't even try to understand coach's mindset. At some point in the season, I was just ready to get it over with. Because a lot of these teams we could have smoked, man, but just them stupid intangibles and all that coaching is the reason why we lost a lot of games. And what makes this even more insane, most of our team returned. We didn't have anybody graduate or transfer for real. So the chemistry was there. What literally messed up our program was the fact that we changed our entire offense. And it's kind of similar to what happened my freshman year, but at the same time it's different. My freshman year, they was already pass heavy. I just ended up going crazy. But on this team, it was completely different. We was changing our offense to something that it wasn't when I first got here. I literally chose this school because I felt like it was a good fit. But I don't know, man. It was a lot of times I questioned this whole college football thing. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. At one point, I was really about to quit. That's how crazy this season was, bro. I have never thought about quitting football in my life, but sometimes that's what college sports will do to you. I mean, all y'all get to see is what happens on TV and the excitement. Some of y'all may be in the student section going crazy, enjoying it in real life. But what you don't know is what happens behind the scenes. And that's with everything in life. The season wasn't all bad at times though. I mean, your boy was still able to pull off some highlight plays. I had one against Auburn where I jumped clean over a defender, but it wasn't my first time doing it in my career, but I think that one might have been the cleanest. And at this point, I understood that I had did enough work to definitely get some NFL interest, but it was just all about if I wanted to do it. I'm telling you, when stuff not going right, it make you question the love of the game. I just told y'all I was thinking about quitting. Just imagine how it's gonna be at the pro level if things ain't going my way. Man, I'm gonna be overthinking so much, I might go crazy. That's the thing though. I had to learn you can't really overthink, bruh. You gotta control what you can control. Nah, for real, think about it though. What's the point of stressing over something that you have no control of? You see what I'm saying? Hey man, you just gotta live life to the fullest, and whatever's meant to happen is gonna happen, bruh. We ain't got time for all that stressing, man. And once I came to that conclusion, it made the season a little bit easier. I ain't gonna say easier, but definitely less stressful. Cause man, it was a lot of tight games, but also a whole lot of losses. But when we did win and we was going crazy as a team, that was definitely one of the best feelings. We had this one game against Auburn that was one of my favorites of the year, just because we was really going crazy. Everybody was eating. But after that Auburn game is where things really started to go downhill. I mean, everybody was already disappointed with the start of the season. I mean, 3-4. The previous year, we was like 5-0, undefeated. Really 6-0 after we beat LSU. So this start was already disappointing. But after that Auburn game, man, that's when them losses really started to rack up. We was playing teams we definitely could have beat, but it was just, the decision making was just terrible, bruh. And some of it was me too, I can't cap, but a lot of it was the just QB and coaching, bruh. I told y'all earlier that my usage rate went down. Just imagine you getting smoked by a team, bruh, and coach didn't even look at you to try to win the game once. Knowing that you cold though, I mean, y'all can understand how that could be frustrating, bruh. And the wear and tear was still there. I was still getting banged up every now and then, so it really was no point of taking down my carries because it was gonna happen either way. I just had to make the most out of every opportunity I got. When we was in the red zone and they gave me the rock, I was definitely looking to get into that end zone, bruh, because I knew I was really limited. But man, this game against Mississippi State, bruh, it was over early, and we had knew it. And the pick six they got basically solidified it, bruh. I told y'all earlier about that decision making. Then we had to go up against Florida, and Florida was cold. And what we do, hey, interception machine right back at it. That boy had back-to-back picks in like 4 games. And he didn't do that all last season. That's how you knew something was up. But did coach want to change something? Nah. It's coach way or the highway. And you just had to follow it. That's the sad part about the whole thing. We ain't really have much say. Last year we did, but this year, I don't know, bruh. He was just on this cycle or something. Man, Florida was out there working us, bruh. I'm telling y'all, they was playing no games with us at all. And we could just not get the offense going, bruh. I mean, it was 28-14 in the third quarter, and everybody was already accepting defeat. But one thing about me that y'all should know by now, bruh, I'ma still play hard until the clock hits 0. No matter how frustrating things may be, I'ma still just try my best, bruh. That's how I was raised, though. This game was basically like a younger sibling trying to fight the older sibling. I mean, we was trying to throw some strikes, but it wasn't really affecting nothing. And we ended up getting smoked that game. And guess who we had next game? The undefeated Georgia University. I mean, come on, bruh. We just had 2 bad losses back to back, and then we gotta go against this undefeated juggernaut. Man, I'm telling you, bruh, it was a rough one. QB came out throwing interceptions. And it's crazy because on the pick that he threw, I was literally wide open. He just didn't throw it to me. But he made sure he threw it to me on the next play, but it was too little too late. Bro, I blinked and it was the fourth quarter and it was 31-0. I mean, talk about an ass whooping, bro. I mean, let's be real. None of us had no business showing our faces on campus after that game. I mean, we lost 31-13, but don't get it twisted. Everybody remember when that score said 31-0. So them 2 little late touchdowns meant absolutely nothing. And in the last game of the season, we was informed that we wasn't even gonna make a bowl game, bro. Bro, we was 3-7, and we had to go against Tennessee for the last game. And honestly, it felt nothing like the last games I've had previously. I mean, I was basically on autopilot, bro. I was going out there, and I was there, but I really wasn't there, if that makes sense. And I was actually doing my thing, too. It wasn't like I was out there slacking. But in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking of that 3-7. Like, how did we fall off so bad, bro? Like, we was literally ranked last year, and now we just look like a hot pile of garbage, bro. I mean, I didn't even know if I was going to be an All-American this year. I didn't have enough yards or TDs for real. They didn't compare to my year last year, but y'all already know why that is. I don't even got to explain that. And I already know what some of y'all may be thinking. Bruh, relax. You got a whole nother year next year. But the way this team plummeted and everything that's been going on behind the scenes, I don't even know if I want to come back here next year. And I for sure don't want to transfer again, but I may have an opportunity to go to the league. So I got some decisions to make for sure. And it didn't help that we ended up losing this game after our QB threw a pick in the clutch. I mean, talk about adding insult to injury, bro. I still remember when a reporter was texting my phone, basically asking why we didn't make a bowl game. Like, what went wrong? I didn't even want to reply, bro. I was just happy that the season was over with. The Georgia QB ended up winning that Heisman. I fell short once again. And yeah, I got first team, but I wasn't an All-American this year. But I actually need y'all help on this one. Should I stay for my senior year? Or should I test my luck in that NFL draft? Until then, stay tuned.
That's okay, Peter.